Yesterday, Mayor Adams denied reports that the city was buying bus tickets to Canada for migrants. But News 4 has learned the Adams administration, which once condemned Texas for busing migrants to Manhattan, is in fact buying those tickets. News 4 government affairs reporter Melissa Russo in the newsroom with the story. Melissa.
You know, Adam, New York City has for many years paid for bus tickets or plane tickets to help move people out of their New York City homeless shelter system to free up space. And they are still doing that. Mayor Adams wants people to know, though, that he's not forcing migrants to relocate someplace else against their will.
No, we don't send migrants to Canada. And that needs to be clear.
But later, the mayor's spokesman clarified, in fact, the city is paying for bus tickets to Canada, but only for migrants who want to relocate. It's an important distinction for Mayor Adams, who does not want to be accused of doing the same thing to Canada as the governor of Texas did to New York.
He compelled them. They had to leave Texas, and that's a big difference.
Last fall, the Mendoza family told us they made the decision to leave New York and move to Montreal after struggling to find enough age-appropriate food for their toddler in their New York City homeless hotel. In text messages, they told us life was calmer in Canada and the food is great for children. But that was back in November. Since then, many more migrants have moved across the northern border, and now community groups in Quebec say their shelters are full.
Instead of finding a place, most people will end up to the streets. Or they will end up in really terrible conditions, renting a garage or an apartment with triple the amount of people that could actually live in that place.
Here, the city is spending billions in tax dollars opening shelters for asylum seekers. In Canada, the shelters are not funded by the government, but unlike the U.S., Canada offers asylum seekers welfare and a shorter wait for refugee status and permission to work.
Here, so we don't have enough people to occupy the position and the job position that are open. So we have a lot of industries closing, and so obviously that comes into play.
Giving these migrants permission to work sooner in the U.S. so they can support themselves is not something House Republicans are widely expected to embrace. But Governor Kathy Hochul raised it at this week's National Governors Conference in Washington.
But the greatest solution, in our opinion, is to allow these individuals to get work permits earlier. We have a 3% unemployment rate in the state of New York. All over the country, employers are desperately looking for workers.
Meanwhile, buses filled with asylum seekers continue both in and out of Port Authority. City Hall emphasizing, we are not coercing people to leave. We are not suggesting or recommending locations. We are not chartering buses, and we are not presenting any kind of false choice. Asylum seekers are only being re-ticketed on public transportation. Some of those tickets, yes, paid by the city, though some families tell us they have paid their own way to move on to other locations, including Canada. But the vast majority, Adam, of the more than 44,000 asylum seekers bused to our city since last year remain here in our city.